What's poppin', everyone? And today we're going to learn how to solve the 3x3 Rubik's Cube. Now first, take note that a Rubik's Cube is not composed of only individual stickers that move around, but rather it is composed of 3 different types of pieces that make up an entire 3x3 cube. Firstly, we have centers. Now these pieces have only one color and do not move from their own place, in which means whatever move you make, centers will always stay the same color. Next, we have edges, which have 2 colors, and corners, which have 3 colors. These 2 other types of pieces can move around the axis of the cube. The Rubik's Cube also has 6 individual faces along with 6 individual colors. By faces, we have the left face, the right face, the up face, the down face, the front face, and the back face. The Rubik's Cube has these 6 different colors, and by a standard color scheme, white is always opposite of yellow, blue is opposite of green, and red is opposite of orange. Let's keep that in mind when we're solving the Rubik's Cube. Finally, before we begin solving the cube, let us learn move notations. On screen is a certain algorithm. These algorithms are sets of moves that are used to solve the cube. Now on screen right now is what is referred to as a sexy move. R, U, R prime, U prime. Now this algorithm is broken up into 4 moves. Firstly, we have R, which you turn the right face clockwise. By U, we turn the up face 90 degrees clockwise. By R prime, we turn the right face 90 degrees counterclockwise, and by U prime, we turn the upper face 90 degrees counterclockwise. When you see a certain move that has an apostrophe, that means to turn a certain face counterclockwise, and when there is none, we turn each face clockwise. Now we'll be showing certain types of moves, such as R, R prime, R2, when you turn a certain face 180 degrees. Now we have U, U prime, U2 to turn the upper face 180 degrees, and so on and so forth with L, L prime, D, D prime, F, F prime, B, B prime. So, now let's begin solving the cube by following this scramble as shown. D prime, F prime, R prime, F2, B prime, L prime, F2, B, U, L, B2, L2, F2, L, U2, D2, B2, R prime, U2, D2. So now, let's get solving. Now for this method, we are going to solve the cube layer by layer and not side by side. Our first step is to build the cross, which looks something like this. A white cross on the bottom with each cross edge oriented with its respective centerpiece, meaning the blue and white edge is with the blue and white center, the red and white edge along with the red and white center, so on and so forth with green and orange. So now, as we can see here, we can have this blue and white cross edge moved to this spot. So we can have this cross edge solved. Now let's take a look around the cube, and we can see the green and white cross edge, and we can move it along here with L to have this solved. And now we also have the red and white cross edge, and we see our red and white center here, so we move our edge here and do an R2. And finally, we have a case where the orange cross edge is in the correct spot, but it's flipped. So now to flip this certain cross edge, let's put the white side down and do this algorithm. F D prime L D. And now we have solved our cross. Now for the next step, we want to solve the entirety of our first layer by putting our white corners in these correct spots. As we can see, we already have one corner solved here. So looking at another cube with the first layer already solved, that is what we want to accomplish. So now let's begin by finding our first corner. So here we have a white, green, and orange corner. And we have its respective spot in here. So now what we want to do is to leave it here. As you can see, we want to move this face up so we can insert this corner. So we can use it by this algorithm. R, U prime, R prime. And now we have this corner inserted into the first layer. Next, we also want to insert this corner. So what we do here is we move up with R, then U, and R prime. As you can see, we've also done an extra step, as this was a very easy case to solve this edge of the second layer. And now finally, let's find our last corner, which is here, the blue and orange and white corner. So we go to our blue and orange side and we move this corner here. Now to insert this corner, let us do another algorithm, and that is R, U2, R prime, U prime, R, U, R prime. And so now we have finished our first layer. Quick tip, if you're stuck with a corner like this, you can do sexy and sexy again. Basically, you can do the sexy move twice to fix this corner if ever it is stuck. Now, for our next step, we'd want to solve the second layer. Something like this, where all of the edges, corners are already solved on the second layer, leaving this third last layer unsolved. So now, let us try to find an edge that we can insert here to complete this slot. And as we can see, we found the green and red edge to insert here. So align the green sticker with its respective center. And now, to insert it to this left side, let us do U prime, L prime, U, L. And now here, we can rotate and do another algorithm, U, R, U prime, R prime. Take note, this algorithm is called the reverse sexy move, or the inverse sexy, which is, as stated, a sexy move done backwards. Now let us find our next edge that we want to put here. So we found our blue and orange edge. So what I want to do is to align it with the blue center, move it with U prime, L prime, U, L, then insert into here. And now finally, we have the last edge that we'd want to insert into this slot. So we have it aligned, and now we do a U instead of U prime as it inserts to the right. Now we lift up with R, U, R prime, and we can now insert the slot. Now in certain cases, we can get something like this, a flipped edge. So now we'll also need another algorithm to solve this, which is R, U, R prime, U2 R U2 R prime U F prime U prime F. And so now with this, we can carry on to the next step with the last layer. Now for the last layer, here is where many of the Rubik's Cube's algorithms come in most handy. In the last layer, we want to complete this top first without solving any of these into their correct spots. This step is what we call orienting the last layer, or OLL. When we complete OLL, our cube will look something like this, where the top layer is already solved, while these are not. So now we have three cases. Our first case is when we at least have this one dot. So what we'll do is F reverse sexy, then U F sexy, and we can bring it to at least a yellow cross case. Now for our next case is that we have this L shape pointing to the left. So now for this case, what we can do is F reverse sexy F prime. And now for this next case, what we do is that we have this bar on the top. So we do F sexy. And so with this, we have gotten multiple cases wherein we have a yellow cross situated on the last layer. For most solves, we have algorithms that cover each of these specific cases. But let's go on with the most simple case, and that is an algorithm called soon. It also looks like this, where when we have what looks like a fish going down to the bottom left with this yellow corner facing us. Now this algorithm is R, U, R prime, U, R, U2, R prime. So now looking into this case, let us put our corner, this yellow corner, facing us on the left and do this algorithm. And now we've got this case, a fish going on to the bottom left, but this is not facing us. So what we can do is to do the algorithm again, then U2, and we see now that we have this exact case as we had before. So let us do soon again, and we have finally solved the last layer, oriented only. And we can move on to the last step. But before we go on to that, let's try with these other cases. First, let us put this corner facing us on the left with this trunk style pattern, and we do this algorithm, the soon algorithm, and we see here, let's put our fish looking shape to the bottom left, do the algorithm again, U2, and we can repeat the algorithm until we have oriented the top layer. And now for this, let us try putting these two corners to our front and execute the algorithm again. So now we have come to this case in which we can put this corner to the left, do the same algorithm, then again, U2, then again. We are now ready to finish solving the Rubik's Cube. So here, we appear to have this side solved. But what we want to focus on is to have what is called two headlights on the left. These two corners that are solved. Now we'll be doing an algorithm that is called a T-perm. So what we'll do is put our headlights to the left, these two solved corners, and do this algorithm. Sexy move, R prime, F, R2, U prime, R prime, U prime, R, U, R prime, F prime. So with this algorithm, we are solving all of the corners of the last layer and putting them into the correct position. Now let's also try with this cube and use the same algorithm. So again, the algorithm is sexy, R prime, F, R2, U prime, R prime, U prime, R, U, R prime, F prime. As we can see, all the corners have been solved. For another case like this, where we do not have any solved corners, try to execute the same T-perm once, then find your solved corners, headlights, put it to the left, and execute the T-perm again. And now we have solved these corners. So with this, we can move on to the final stage. Now here, we have a couple of different cases. These two are the same and this one is a different case. So let's move on with the first one, where we want to cycle, move our edges clockwise. Like this yellow edge will be here, this red will be moved over here, and this blue will be moved over here. Now as we can see, the back face is already solved. So now we'll do this algorithm, which is M2. Now it's a new move notation, but M2 involves turning the middle layer with M prime. Doing it twice gives you M2. Now here, find your opposite edge. As we mentioned before, the color scheme, that blue is opposite of green, red is opposite of orange, and white is opposite of yellow. So as we can see, we have found a red edge with orange corners. So what we will do is that we'll move this to the front with U prime. Always remember to bring the opposite edge to your front. Now bring this down with M, U2, M prime, U prime, M2. For this one, we also have the same algorithm. When executed more quickly, it can look like this. Okay, unfortunately we have been brought into a different case, wherein our edge that is opposite is on the right side. So we'll do the same, but a bit more differently this time. M2, now move this to the front with U instead. Bring it down with M, U2, M prime. Now bring this with U, M2. We also have another case which can be solved very easily. This is also what's referred to as the H-perm. The two other previous algorithms are called U-perms. Now for this H-perm, we can do this much more simple algorithm, which is M2, U, M2, U2, M2, U, M2. Now before we end, we also have some special cases for these algorithms, in which, in this case, we'll be swapping two adjacent corners, and as well as this on the opposite side. So now we put these to our left and front and do this algorithm. M2, U prime, M2, U prime, M, U2, M2, U2, M, U2. Now, in summary, we will use the same scramble as a while ago and show you the solution. So firstly, is that we did our cross like this to solve the first layer cross. Next is that we completed the first layer corners by this. So you can see we have done the first layer. Next is that we did our edges to solve the second layer. And now from here, we can carry out our algorithm to solve and to get a cross case. And now for this next case, we will do Sune. So we find this fish going down, U2, and we do the algorithm again. And we can see our headlights here, so we do the T-perm. And now we see this next case where we can do a clockwise edge cycle, or actually a counterclockwise edge cycle. So we do M2, U, M, U2, M prime, U, M2. And we have now solved the Rubik's Cube. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you have any questions, don't forget to leave them in the comments or whatever is possible. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you soon. Keep poppin', guys. Peace.